you know, being like working on your skills. You know, I mean, you know, before I went out with a script, I wrote. Before I even sent it to managers or agents or tried to get representation, and I wrote like 5 or 6 scripts that are sitting in my drawer that I don't show anybody. You know what I mean? So it's like practice and working at it, and just, you know, just kind of educating yourself about written storytelling. You know, like it's always shocking to me when I meet people that want to be writers and stuff that don't like read books or don't have an interest in literature and stuff, because I mean this is the business we're in, right? We're in the business of written storytelling. You know, obviously there's that other element to it as well of like making movies, and that the script is not in itself like a finished document or whatever. But you know, I always think like when you're sort of reading other people's scripts and stuff, like I think like the single most like if aspiring writers are going to do one thing that's going to improve their chances of being like a working writer, that's like working on their prose and improving their prose, right? And I'm not just talking about spelling and grammar. I'm talking about like using clear and concise speech, about using figurative language, you know, metaphors and similes on the page, like just being able to express an idea clearly. Like, you know, because I mean, like writing a novel, right? Novels can really be any length you want. They can be 150 pages and they can be 500 pages or 1,000 pages, okay? But when you're writing a screenplay, it basically has to be between 90 and 120 pages, okay? Like you have a very finite amount of space, right? And so you got to pack that space with as many clear and interesting ideas as you can, right? So if somebody's taking a page to describe a room that somebody else can describe in a paragraph, okay? That person that can describe it in a paragraph is going to have a huge advantage over that somebody that took a page, right? Not just there's that, you know, being able to pack more ideas into your script and stuff, but also making your script a pleasant reading experience for people, right? Because a script really has to succeed as a literary experience before it is a filmed experience, right? This has to be pleasant for someone as they're sitting at the desk. Somebody who reads a lot of scripts, it has to be pleasant for people, okay? And so beyond all the other things about writing things that are exciting or whatever, I just think like just improving your prose, right? And reading books and seeing how people are able to convey ideas, like in a novel and stuff, right? Rather than just people just think, oh, well, I watch movies, so thus I can write scripts. No. That's not it, right? A script is it's not just a blueprint for a film. It's an invitation to make a film, okay? You're writing an invitation and you're giving it to you're giving it to directors and actors and producers and saying, let's make a movie that looks kind of like this. Because don't think when you're sitting in your room writing a spec that movie, like putting camera angles and stuff in there, that movie is going to get made. It's not, right? Because once it gets through the sausage maker of Hollywood, it's going to look a whole lot different. So just think of it like that, like you're making a 120-page invitation for somebody for a movie, and like leave it at that. You're not making a blueprint for a house.
What's the difference?
You know, obviously, you know, when you're a writer, like watching movies takes on a different sort of flavor. You know what I mean? I watch a lot of movies and I'm like, I wonder how that looked on the page, right? Where you watch some movies and you're like, man, that must have looked terrible on the page, right? I'm thinking, how do you describe something like that, like in an interesting way, or what have you? So when I read scripts, I look for a lot of nuts and bolts things. You know what I mean? When I think of the scripts that really influenced me as a writer, a lot of it was like how well how things were formatted on the page and stuff to deliver an interesting filmed experience, right? Or like, so the nuts and bolts of it all and stuff. Like I still remember reading, Almost Famous, okay? The Cameron Crowe script for Almost Famous is like a wonderful read on the page, or like some of Frank Darabont's scripts, like The Green Mile, right? And I think a lot of people, if they looked at my writing and stuff, they wouldn't necessarily like, oh wow, like that guy's clearly influenced by Cameron Crowe or Frank Darabont, right? But just on the page and stuff, like I ripped off a lot of things in terms of how to format an idea on the page that delivers a really good reading experience. So I think that's sort of the difference. When you're going for a movie, you're, watching a movie, you're sort of taking from it like what makes for interesting spectacle and entertainment and stuff. And then, but when I'm reading the script, it's more about the mechanics of it and the mechanics of delivering a good literary experience.